Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of Argo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Will Kennedy, and every time here on the program, we're going to highlight all the things that are going on here for our student athletes at UWF. We're going to start this program out talking about men's and women's tennis. These are two programs that have a rich tradition, national championships as a team, individual national championships. Every year the goal is to compete for a national title. Coach Derek Racine has a lot of new faces on both his men's and women's teams. You'll recognize a few of them, but really kind of having to reload with his top players in both programs moving on after great careers. They had a great week over spring break, both teams. The women, who got off to a rougher start to start the season, they've kind of turned things around. They found their groove. They beat Angelo State, then beat Xavier and Delta State over the weekend. They are unbeaten at home, and they've got a nice winning streak going. The men had the two matches of the weekend as well, beating Xavier and beating a tough Delta State team. We had a chance to catch up and talk with Coach Derek Racine about the season so far and what the future looks like moving ahead before a big match against a Valdosta State program where their men are ranked number 6 in the country. Coach, pretty successful spring break. I mean, the women win 3 matches, the men win a couple, and the conference ones are some big ones. It was a good break. Yeah, it was really good. It's good to play at home, and the weather's getting nice, and it feels like tennis weather. The girls are finally getting over a lot of injuries and starting to play really well. And the guys have been playing good all season. You know, both teams started with a really tough schedule, kind of opening with the National Indoor, the best teams in the country right off the bat. So that was kind of a little bit tough. We don't play indoors, so it's nice to be kind of in our home area, sleeping in our own beds and playing on our own courts, and having a good relaxed time. Spring break's always nice because we can train and compete and not have to worry about turning in papers and doing tests at the same time. Kind of kicks up from here, though. I mean, you got a lot of conference opponents coming up, and this is really kind of the meat of the schedule. Yeah, this is one that really matters. It's not, we always say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So that's what we're trying to finish strong and trying to get a little better each day, which it seems both teams are working that way. Yeah, we talked before the season, some different faces, have had to move up and play in some different positions. You lost your tops from both teams last year. Kind of how's that shaking out? Are you still kind of looking and moving people around, or is your lineup pretty set on both men's and women's? Yeah, I mean, we're pretty set on our lineups. Juan Cabra on the men's side has stepped up and playing number 1 this year. He played tremendous the last few years, and he's playing great again. We've got a couple new faces in the lineup in the top 4. Tommy Descarrega and Facundo Bermejo have been doing really good, and then Bernardo Costa has really stepped up and playing number 3 and really solid. And our doubles has been very solid as well on the men's side. And then on the women's side, Irene's still at number 2 and still doing well. Sarah's kind of leapfrogged her and playing number 1 and really playing well, competing hard. We've got a couple injuries that we've gotten over, and with Mayu Seguchi and Carolina have really stepped up and started to play again. They were hampered with operations and stuff like that, getting over some physical ailments, but they're back and playing well, and that's I think lifted our whole team up and got everybody playing well. Obviously, the goals are to get past it, win the conference tournament, get into the regionals, and advance on to the nationals. Are these teams capable? Yeah, I think we are. This year is just crazy. We talk about it every time you go out and play a team. They're not even ranked, and they're playing really, really well, beating a lot of ranked teams. So the depth in D2 has gotten tremendous. You can go down from the 40th team is super competitive with anyone in the top 10. So it's really a tough league now we have, and our conference is, just as tough as any league. So as always, as we are taping, they're playing Valdosta. You can check GoArgos.com for the results of that match. The men will play Ouachita Baptist. Try to spell Ouachita. Trust me, it's not as easy as you think. And then both teams will go up to Valdosta, not to play Valdosta again, but to take on some other teams in a tournament up there in Georgia over the weekend.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
Hello, I'm Zach Pullman. I'm a graduate assistant here at the University of West Florida, and I work in athletic communications. What makes me passionate about my role here and working in athletics at UWF is just getting to work with the coaches and the players and being able to highlight their accomplishments on and off the court. When I found out that I received the Bright Future Scholarship, I was very excited. I knew this would take a burden off of my family and kind of help me through college, and I knew it would give me plenty of opportunities down the road. One of my proudest achievements is graduating with my undergraduate degree here from the University of West Florida debt-free with a degree in sports management, and then continuing my education by being accepted into the communications department here at the university. If I had not received the Bright Future Scholarship, I would not be in the position I am today. Given the opportunity to pay for my complete undergraduate degree, I did not have to worry about student debt, so I was able to continue my journey of education and pursue a master's degree. Just want to thank the Florida Lottery for not only helping me through my college journey, but countless others in the state of Florida and all they do to help education within the state.
Look at that. Your Whataburger, made exactly the way you want it. Because sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands. What a burger, just like you like it.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
Let's turn our attention to baseball. The UWF men have been ranked since early in the season and had been on a nice winning streak, not just in the conference, but in winning series week in and week out. They hadn't lost a series since an early disappointment in a series of one-run losses to Rollins, but they brought Embry-Riddle in for a spring break series over the weekend. 3 games, supposed to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead. It had to be a doubleheader Saturday and a single game on Sunday. 2 one-run losses on Saturday, a disappointing day for this Argo team, but some good performances. Cullen O'Shea, Alden Davis hitting some home runs in those 2 games on Saturday. And then Sunday, you got to bounce back, right? You're not getting swept, not at the spoon. And the Argos were able to put 11 runs on the board. Nice performances by Brady Browning, who was the GSC Freshman of the Week. And the big catcher behind the plate, Josh Prezina, hits a home run. He's 6'6", folks. Trying to catch and squat down like that is no easy task. But the Argos get the win. They do not win the series, but it's a win that they can turn around and move on to the next phase, which is to dive back into GSC play. We had a chance to talk to Coach Mike Jeffcoat after the series.
Yeah, really proud of the way the guys responded today. You know, first inning there, base loaded, no outs, and we didn't get a run in. And you know, that's how it's going to be. They're going to be tested, and they responded within the next inning or 2. And Brady Browning had a big day at the plate. I think Trent Jeffcoat got on base 4 times and a couple runs scored. And, you know, we just swung the bat up and down the lineup, a lot better situational hitting today. Really proud of the way they responded after yesterday and not swinging the bat. And, you know, they battled in both those games to come back late and lose 2 one-run games. And, you know, that's unusual for us here at home. But, you know, give Embry-Riddle a lot of credit. But again, I was really pleased. We talked about energy today. We talked about really trying to set the tone, and all credit to the players today. And this was a non-conference slate, and we're still, you know, where we want to be in the conference play. And as we talked about as a team, we want to continue to get better. And there's a lot of room for improvement in each individual player, but it's working together and having some synergy with our offense. I thought we bunted the ball well today to get runners in scoring position, and I think that buys guys into the selflessness they see with their teammate in front of them, and they want to grind and get the job done even more. And that's, you know, how we did it today. And normally when we're bunting well and putting the ball in play, we're scoring scoring runs. And again, like you said, Tyler Dowdy went out there, gave up some solo home runs today, but, did that with nobody on. And again, got us back in the dugout even after giving up a solo shot in the first and responded, like a veteran would. And so proud of his outing and going into the 8th inning, and then SD's finishing it up with a little bit of short arms today. And, you don't want to mention it, but, we've had the flu bug going through our team. It's no excuse. Everybody deals with that, but I was really proud of the grit. I think Pilot and Farrow were under the weather yesterday. It's a learning lesson that everybody's got to deal with, but proud again of them coming out and getting it done on Sunday.
So the men will stay right at home. They don't have to travel this weekend. Auburn Montgomery comes in, as we mentioned, getting back into Gulf South Conference play. The Argos have not lost a Gulf South Conference series yet. They lead the conference, 10-2 record in conference play so far. So big ones with AUM coming into the Spoon. A Saturday-Sunday series, 2 on Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. Come on out and check out some baseball. There'll be softball right next door at the Fork, and we love those weekends where they're both at home together. Great atmosphere out there, so we encourage you to come on out. The softball team rolling along. They did not play over the weekend. Their spring break consisted of a one-day trip over to Clinton, Mississippi to take on Mississippi College, a really good Mississippi College team. They split the 2 games over there, but this is a team that up until that point had been on a tear, winning 14 straight games. They are ranked in the top 25 in the country. They were number 12, I think, the last poll out, and we'll have to see where it shakes down this week coming in. But they will be at home with Auburn Montgomery coming in. And every conference series is so important. There's a lot of talent, especially up at the top of the GSC standings on the softball side. We had a chance to talk to Coach Ashley McLean before the big series with AUM.
We were really fortunate to have this break. I think our girls needed it mentally and physically, and it was at the back end of our spring break, so they even got time off from schoolwork. But we're super excited. We got back on the field yesterday, and we're excited to see what AUM has this weekend. Yeah, Kelsey Sweat, Montana Young did great for us, especially coming off the weekend with West Allen. They scored a lot of runs on us. They bounced back and showed what they're really about. Hitting the second half of our conference, our team is still looking really strong. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to learn each other, and we're excited to see what the rest of the conference is going to look like. We have a tough road ahead of us as we play AUM this weekend, and then we have Huntsville and Valdosta still, but we're excited to see what we have. They're going to be super aggressive on the bases. They have a very powerful lineup, but I think if we stick to our game plan and we focus on us and what we have with our strengths, then we're going to be just fine.
So same for softball, doubleheader on Saturday, single game on Sunday. They start at 1 o'clock on both days at the Fork. So come on out, catch Coach Ashley McLean and her team in action against AUM. Football, spring practice is underway. The teams are out there in the morning. The football team's out there for Coach Pete Shinnick, kind of getting the rust off, knocking the rust off for spring a little bit. They'll have some scrimmages coming up, and we'll let you know about those on GoArgos.com. And as always, if you can get a hold of that practice schedule, come on out and watch a little bit of practice and kind of get a look at what the Argos are going to look like for next season in 2022. But it's not just the Argos that are here right now playing football. An alumni of the University of West Florida, Quentin Randolph, you'll remember Q, setting records in the national championship game in 2019 for his receiving exploits, and one of the most dynamic players both on the field and off this program has ever produced and probably will ever produce. He is a character, to say the least. He is also playing indoor football. I was going to say arena football, but it's the IFL. He is playing for the North Arizona Wranglers. They had their first game last week, taking on the Las Vegas Nighthawks in a brand new arena, and Q caught the first pass for Northern Arizona this season. It was a tough game for his offense, not for Q necessarily. They just couldn't get him the football. But congratulations to Q on making his pro debut. We'll be keeping an eye on Quentin Randolph throughout this season. So check out UWF Football social media for more on that. Both UWF golf programs are also busy schedules this time of year, those students. And remember, folks, they've got to balance the stuff in the classroom with going out and competing in golf tournaments and traveling all over to do so. In fact, the men ranked 11th in the country for Coach Steve Fell. They are up at the Bobcat Invitational in Georgia. They were third after 36 holes in that event. The women off this week, but they recently hosted a tournament down in Destin, finished in the top 10 in that one. Both teams will be at home hosting events, the men at Pensacola Country Club, the women over at Tiger Point and Gulf Breeze. That comes up April 4th and April 5th, so we're looking forward to getting some golf close to home. Come on out and check out those tournaments as April rolls in. The calendar just ticking away. Can't keep up with it. That'll do it for this edition of Argo Sports Insider. As always, GoArgos.com is your spot to find the latest news, scheduling, dive into some features on donors, all kinds of different stuff that we like to put in that home there. But also the Argo Armada app on your phone or your tablet will keep you connected at all times to our social media for the different programs and everything else as well. We will see you next time right here on Argo Sports Insider.